Now is the time.
Now is the best time.
This is our top 3 list, so we're gonna present you 3 of our favorite things related to a topic. This one is pretty interesting. This is something that, particularly for the international audience, I know that there's a lot of things that they don't realize that we can do in Walt Disney World, and we're trying to bring that and to shed a light on those things and those experiences. The topic for this week is top 3 Walt Disney World free experiences. Who's going to start?
There's great risk at going first in this game.
That's true.
Is the thing, not really game, but you know what I mean, this segment. But I'll go first if you want me to go first. My number 3 free experience in Walt Disney World is cruising on a water launch, just about anywhere. Whether it's traveling from, I think as this one was, probably from Fort Wilderness or Wilderness Lodge to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, so the one that I was on when this was taken was from Wilderness Lodge. The one in front of you is leaving Fort Wilderness.
There you go. Or it could be traveling between one of the Magic Kingdom resorts, like Poly, or on the monorail loop, like Poly or Grand Floridian, over to Magic Kingdom. Or it could be a friendship boat between Epcot and Hollywood Studios. But I think that cruising on a water launch is like not just one of the best free experiences, but also just it's like one of the best experiences, like a must-do experience in Walt Disney World, period.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many people I've heard, or at least that have talked to me directly, or that I've overheard that have said like, "Oh, I can't do that because I'm not staying at the resort," which is not true at all.
It's not true at all.
Not true at all.
My life mission.
Yeah,
it's like my life mission.
It happens a lot to me too.
Yeah.
Like, please, I don't want to give the rest of my list away, so I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk about it.
No,
but I will
it's,
tell you
it's
this:
like Disney encourages it. It's not something they're ever going to be upset with you about. I mean, they want you to explore these resorts. They want you to go eat at these dining locations. So it's not something you should ever be concerned about leaving the Magic Kingdom on somebody else's boat. Like, just go enjoy it.
Right, and you will be able to come back. They will bring you back. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
as long as the park
even
doesn't close on you.
even in times like this, that when you have some of the resorts that, for instance, you cannot drive to because they require you to have a AGR for food there. With the resort lounges, no problem. You can go everywhere. Yeah. You can go to Fort Wilderness, to Wilderness Lodge, to Grand Floridian, everywhere. So it's and I really like that too. I think it is even what I used to do before. It was even with kids. It was in the middle of the day, or in the middle of our park day. Taking a break and taking one of the lounges and just to move around and to enjoy. And I really like the lakes here. So it's a nice thing. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I'm not aware of that. Oh, but let me bring you one thing, buddy. And it's our off factor. Yeah. It is 90. It's a classic.
It's really high for all of us.
It's a classic. Collin, are you the next one or it's me?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to take us a little different route, but a similar kind of thought process in an odd way. So my number 3 is actually miniature golf, which is kind of odd because people will think, oh, that's not free. Well, in many ways it is if you're a resort guest. If you buy into a package as a resort guest, is kind of my sort of free option. Most of the time, if you book a resort reservation independently, and especially if you book it as a package, you actually get credit to go play Fantasia Miniature Golf or Winter Summerland Miniature Golf. I don't know currently if it's a buy one get one free situation or if it's just a completely free voucher. They've done both over the years, to my understanding, but that was how I played it the first time. It is a great way to not only explore some things that you may not have seen at Walt Disney World, but if you're at Epcot, it's not that far of a walk around. It's just kind of you go out the back entrance at Epcot, walk around Crescent Lake, and you right through right between Swan and Dolphin, you're there. So it is an easy walk to get over there. Maybe a little different with construction currently, but you can make a day of it easy. Not just the miniature golf, but of the surrounding areas. So I know a lot of people like to cut costs by cutting out a park day. If you want to stay at Yacht and Beach Club or Boardwalk or Swan and Dolphin, spend a little extra money on your resort. You can always pull a park day, not have to pay for a ticketed park day there. Go enjoy the boardwalk. Go enjoy Yacht and Beach Club. Get you a nice lunch. Go play some miniature golf. Wander around. A lot of good options there.
I feel like you're like squeezing some other options in here. Like
Don't worry,
yeah,
I'm only carrying up my own list, so don't worry. We'll elaborate further in a moment.
Oh boy.
This one, the Fantasia is the one that I already had the opportunity to experience. The other one, the Winter.
I've not done that one either.
Winter
I've only done
Summerland.
Fantasia.
Yeah,
I've
Winter
done both
Wonderland
courses at Fantasia, but one of them is honestly, their Fairways course is one of the most difficult miniature golf courses in the United States, quite literally, per their ranking. But it's kind of an actual golf feel on a miniature golf course. It's very unique. But Fantasia's characters and fun stuff and very unique, like interactive elements, for lack of a better word, without spoiling some of the surprises. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun if you ever get a chance to do it, or you can do it for free with one of the passes or something.
Let me show the F factor for this experience. It's 82,
which is surprisingly high considering only 2 of us voted on it.
Okay, so let's go to my number 3. My number 3 is like I'm bringing a way to experience a classic experience free, and which is to experience the water pageant from one of the resorts at the Seven Seas Lagoon. And it brings me a little bit of nostalgia. I know the whole thing with the water pageant is something that is in the park since 1971, and so is and it not even changed that much. There was changing regarding the songs and things, some floats, but it still sticks to the same. And the good thing is that from watching from the resorts, I really like to watch from the Poly or even from the Grand Floridian, and I think it's something that we should do. That there was something that happened regarding water pageant. It was the last time I was in Orlando. I did a live show from Epcot, and when I finished the live, in the way to the parking lot, I could hear the water pageant in the Seven Seas Lagoon.
Like the Baroque Hoedown playing?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not Baroque. It is the theme songs with the poly synth. It's not Baroque down anymore. It's diverse.
Oh, that's right. Are you sure they don't play that at all anymore?
No, it don't play it at all. Didn't play it at all since 1996.
I don't care about. I don't see it anymore.
Since 1996.
What a narcissist tonight.
I do want to know why in your picture the whale was blowing fire out of its blowhole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
Because that's pretty impressive.
Oh, and let me share the 2 things I'd like to share. You mentioned about the soundtrack, the song. And when I was doing a little research, it came up like this colored printed record for
They're hard to find.
Electric water pageant, and I used to have one like that for the Main Street Electrical Parade.
I'm shocked this wasn't higher. I blame Jason.
No, because
okay. Okay. I know we don't want to dive deep into the off factor, but think of what an 80 represents. It's not a bad score. 80 is
outstanding.
It's
outstanding.
Right. So I just don't think it's one of those things that if you don't experience it, you haven't had a full Disney experience. I think it's something that's great to experience.
I think you should say that is if you're staying at a Bay Lake resort or Seven Seas Lagoon resort and you didn't see it. I think that
then you missed out on one of the benefits.
So we're going to your second one.
So the next one actually, I went back and forth a lot about whether this should be my number 1 or not, because it is something. It's almost like this is tied for number 1, because this is one of those things where it's like one of my top 3 favorite activities in all of Walt Disney World, period. And it's free. And that is visiting the resorts, like touring the resorts, resort hopping, whatever you want to call it.
Exploring.
I love exploring the resorts. When I would come here on vacation before we lived here, we would spend a significant amount of time just exploring the resorts, visiting new resorts, visiting resorts that we, had been to many times before, but just to see what has changed, visit the stores. The stores have unique items in terms of what they carry that maybe none of the other resort stores carry. The way they smell, the way they sound, the memories that you have from those various resorts, if you've from staying there before, just visiting. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And I know every time someone asks me, oh, we're going to Walt Disney World, what should we do? Yada, yada, yada. I'm like, make time. Just set aside at least a day to get around and explore the resorts. And it's much easier to do if you either have a vehicle or if you are willing to use Uber or something like that. But you can do it with Disney transportation as well.
There are
it's
a
just
lot
not
of
as
good
easy to hop
options
between resorts.
that you don't even really have to. I mean, you can do Yacht Club, Beach Club, Boardwalk, Swan and Dolphin.
Exactly.
Just stepping out of the back of Epcot.
Exactly.
Same thing with Magic Kingdom, really. Not as easy now as it was because of the station being down at the Poly, but I mean, you've got Boardwalk.
You can still take the boat.
Sorry.
I mean, you can still take the boat around.
Yeah, you can still take the boat. You've got Grand Floridian, Polynesian,
and
Contemporary, Wilderness Lodge, even.
Also now with from Epcot, you can get to not just the Epcot resort areas, but over to Riviera and to Caribbean Beach Resort and to Pop and to Art of Animation.
It's one of the few things that access now is easier than it's ever been.
Yeah, exactly. So I think do yourself a favor. The next time you're here, set aside some time to do what I think is one of the best activities, and it's free.
Is there any particular resort, a special resort, Jason, that you like to point out, or is it like general rule everything? For
me, when I'm visiting, it's typically going to, and this ties back to a lot of the other things we've talked about in previous shows, like the lounges. So stopping by for a little snack here and there, right? So you're just sort of grazing your way, dining your way around. Any of the resorts with a, I mean, they have a walkability factor, being able to explore it, which I'll talk about with my number one a bit. But some of the resorts you can get to right now, like Caribbean Beach, great resort to just take a stroll around. Get off the Skyliner at Riviera, walk along that the waterway that we won't name it because we don't really know what its name is. Is it Bear?
No, we never
did we figure out it was Barefoot Bay or something like that? I think, or
it's different on Google Maps than it is anywhere else.
The name of the bay is Barefoot.
It's Barefoot, yeah.
But the
Barefoot
lake,
Bay.
there's no name. A lake with no name.
So you walk there through Caribbean Beach. Lovely. Also, when it's open, Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter, really, really wonderful resorts.
And they're easy to get to from Disney Springs.
And these resorts also have activities, right? So everything from bike rentals to boat rentals.
Yeah, but wait. Don't mess.
Oh, am I stepping on it?
Don't mess with my number 2.
You asked for it. You asked for it. Okay, I'll stop talking.
And repeating to everybody, Disney actually wants you to visit the resort. So don't.
Yeah,
the fact of not being a guest.
You're spending money. So yeah.
The only thing they cannot do is to enjoy the pools. I think we have to show the rating for Jason's. Jason's.
This was a high one.
It was a 92. A 92, a factor.
Which if I remember correctly, we don't have much that's been higher than that.
We will see.
Not yet. So I don't remember how I ranked my 1 versus my 2 because there was kind of a toss-up.
Don't worry.
So
don't
go
worry.
ahead and show the number 2. Yeah.
I will show you first and then number 2.
Okay, so this one is pretty much the hidden gem of hidden gems for me, and you all have heard me rant about this Boulder Ridge lobby before, but if you actually take a couple steps next door, there's a little room called the Carrollwood Room, and it only says that on one side, so there may be a secondary name for this, but essentially it houses a lot of train-related things that Walt Disney had an impact in directly. So as many of you may know the story of Carrollwood, it wasn't a railroad that was in Walt Disney World's backyard. It was a miniature scale railroad. If you've been to the Walt Disney Family Museum, you have seen some of the cars that were on that railroad. But the one that's missing at the Family Museum is actually on loan, I believe, Jason, you can correct me if I'm wrong, to Walt Disney World from the Walt Disney's family itself to sit in the Carrollwood Room. So there is one behind glass in there. It's a great place to have a little bit of time, not necessarily away from the parks, but in just enjoying your resort. You can sit there, play a game, have a coffee, talk to your family. If it's after the parks are closed, it's a very quiet area most of the time, just to kind of relax and just enjoy some quality time with people that are with you, and enjoy a little bit of Disney history that a lot of people will overlook. So this always makes my list because it's something that most people don't even know exists. But if you just go to Wilderness Lodge, walk down the path to the Boulder Ridge lobby, take a right when you walk in the door, you'll find it. It's a neat area, especially at night.
It's really neat. And every time I went there, was only me. No one else. It's always
typically
empty,
that way. Unless you've stayed in that Boulder Ridge Villas, chances are you'd never know it was there unless somebody's kind of tipped you off on it.
Okay, let's go to my number 2. And my number 2, it is related to Jason's number 2. But what I did is I took a specific resort and choose an experience in that resort. And I'm talking about the Savannah Experience at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. And it is something that I quite often do and I really like. And it's something that sometimes takes time for me because I'll just sit there and watch the animals and the gnus. Okay. You know that wildebeest is also called gnu. So I don't know. I don't know if
you know that.
Yeah. So I like that.
You realize when you're experiencing the savannah that you're supposed to stay off of the savannah, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But you have those places that you were like, in the middle of that. I like that. And I have to admit that most of the time that I'll go there is usually this time of the year that is not so hot.
It's brutally hot in the summer. That's part of the reason I didn't rank it as high as I could have. And the animals tend to disappear when it's that hot too, is all I'll say. But it's spring, fall, it's wonderful.
But you go out in the morning or evening.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's a great place.
Just avoid mid-afternoon in the summer, basically.
It's a great place. I will show
unless it's going to thunderstorm.
That's
in
true.
The summer, which will, and then because then they tend to come out right after the storm too.
Yes, and it already happened to me once. I will bring the rating for this one, and then I will come back to Collin's. So that one was rating 75, which is a very good. It's a very good level. Let me go back to Collin's number 2, and I will show So. Yeah. And this is the rating that we got for Carrollwood.
I was a little surprised this was higher than the other one, just me personally. But I kind of skewed this one a little bit, it appears.
Well, that's how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
That works. It's what it means to you, which is fair.
Yep.
It's a great experience, and I think it's a mistake if you are at Wilderness Lodge for any reason, whether you're staying there or just coming in for a meal at Whispering Canyon or going down to Geyser Point. Geyser Point. I think that you should definitely walk down that little portico area and into Boulder Ridge and not just take a look at the Carrollwood Room, but also sit in the lobby area for a bit by the fire. Oh,
yeah. It's one of the quietest places you'll find.
Yeah, it's what Mary is mentioning. I love the fire.
Unless you're trying to video. If you're trying to do any video,
then the elevators and the rolling floor doesn't
exactly.
always work for you. Yeah. Wooden floors are loud.
I was laughing here with Mike O'Reilly's comment. Me seeing you with an you, with the view. Jason, your number 1.
So my number 1 is kind of related to number 2. It doesn't have to be, and it is an experience that I don't think you have to do every time you visit Walt Disney World. It's one of those experiences that I think you must do at least once, especially now, and that is taking a sunset walk from the Magic Kingdom, which we can do now. The Magic Kingdom on the path around to the Grand Floridian and then on to the Polynesian Resort, because if you start an hour or so before the sun sets, by the time you get to the Poly and the sun is finally going down, and the tiki torches will be lit, and it's just so romantic. And I think it's a. I think
Carlos make that walk together.
Well, I wasn't gonna say who with, but I mean, I was thinking Michelle, but Carlos can come along too. Why not? But yeah, I think it's because the path in and of itself is a good way to just take a break and get some exercise. It's also a good way to clear your head and recenter, especially during separating yourself from all that energy in the Magic Kingdom. It's a good way to see the Grand Floridian and parts of the Grand Floridian that you may not have explored before, and to to stop. There's benches along the way. Stop, rest, take in the view, take pictures. You don't know when you're going to be back at that spot again, so enjoy it, take it all in, move on, go to the beach, sit in one of the chaise lounges. Take in that view. Look at the wildlife. Watch the ducks playing in the water. Move, and then walk along past the DVC buildings, the Grand Floridian's DVC buildings, past the wedding chapel. You can walk. Gates open to the wedding chapel. The peninsula there. You can walk out to the wedding chapel peninsula. You can go out around the front where they take a lot of pictures, wedding pictures. It's beautiful shot of the Magic Kingdom there across Seven Seas Lagoon. Come back, continue along the path and the beach there, over to the Polynesian Resort. It is, I mean, some of you have done that walk with me live for lunch breaks. Some of you have seen it in the videos. Video this week it was filmed during the sunset period of the Grand Floridian, and Carlos and I did this walk together.
Yep.
From the Grand Floridian over to
hold hands?
Well, no. we got close.
No,
we
but we explored
our feelings for each other.
Choose your next words carefully.
we explored the Polynesian, the Hawaiian, the Polynesian show, the luau. Remember, we tried to go to the amphitheater. We did not explore the wedding pavilion. No.
Not yet.
And I was kind of anxious to get to Polly because I was really thinking about the ribs, and they were amazing.
And I like that you brought this to the table because it's easy for us to kind of get into that mindset. It's like, hey, we're going to carve out the time to do this because we're there a lot more than most people. But there is this inherent value in the simpler things of the Walt Disney World experience when you are, even if you're there on vacation for a few short days. I mean, there's so much value. Oh gosh, Zach. But there's so much value in taking that little bit of time, even if you take an hour or two at the end of your day, to make that walk, escape a little bit, and you'll be shocked. More often than not, those are the things you'll remember with your family and your friends or a significant other that you're with more than any time that you have in the park. I mean, I know it's difficult to say, hey, we bought this park ticket, but no, we're going to take 2 hours. We're going to walk around the lake. But oftentimes it's what you remember, and that's why we go in the first place.
Let's show the rating that the F factor for the sunset walk from Magic Kingdom to the Poly was a 93.
Which is high.
93.
So mine is similar yet different. If I remember what my top one was here, go ahead and throw it up so that I don't butcher what my own top one was. Yeah, so this is what I thought it was. And this is very similar to Jason's. It's just a different location. For me, this is one of those pivotal moments and pivotal things that you have to do if you have the opportunity to do so. Either you have a night in Epcot that you just want to escape the park for a little bit and step out those back gates and wander yacht club, beach club, boardwalk, just explore that area a little bit. But there are very few simple joys in life that are more pivotal and just kind of simplistic in nature as sitting around Crescent Lake as the sunset kind of unfolds. No matter which direction you're watching it from, there's just so much color in the sky there, and it's unique in that it's a place that you'll see a sunset you don't always get to see. And it's something you can make time for, grab some food, enjoy some of the shopping over there, and really you can make a real nice evening of it, especially if you pair it with a good meal, be it flying fish, be it anything that's open, anything that's not open, and that will at some point be back open. There's just so many things you can do, and it's a simpler evening. Rent a Surrey bike, enjoy some laughs with family. It's a simple quintessential Disney moment that I think way too many people overlook or don't even know that it exists. Because people assume, hey, it's a resort, I can't go to that area. You 100% can, especially if you have a car, if you have a dining reservation, they'll let you right in. But something you have to do at least once before you can call yourself a true Disney fan sometimes, at least in my opinion. But I know I mean, 100% agree. And I think that I would go as far to say if you visit Epcot and you do not take the time to
leave International Gateway over in World Showcase and just at least walk around that loop, or
think of it as an extension of your World Showcase experience in an odd way.
If you have not done that, you have not experienced Epcot in some weird way. Like for me, it's so linked in my psyche and in my soul to one another that it's a must do. Doing it at sunset, perfect.
Just next
or at night.
It's one of
Even
the best
at night,
places on property to see a sunset.
It's so beautiful. It's really beautiful.
And what surprised me, buddy, is that again, this is another experience that a lot of people that I know that already been many times to Walt Disney World never did. They weren't talking about,
or don't even know that it exists.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I post way too many pictures of this on my Instagram account from various sunsets and just different nighttime experiences. But every time there's always a comment or a message that gets sent to me and says, basically, I never knew this existed. Where is this? And it's something that it has kind of remained somewhat of a hidden gem over the years.
Yep.
As long as it's been there, realistically. But grab a bench, grab a swing, enjoy a little time there, even if it's just 15 minutes.
So let's see the F factor for Sunset at Crescent Lake,
which I believe is one of the highest we've had.
And it was 94.
There are very few things that top it on Disney property, in my opinion, especially because quite literally you can do this without spending a dime and have an incredible experience.
Let's go to my number one. And there's a connection. There's a connection with all the things that we're talking about, because it's related to that area, to the Crescent Lake, but also related to the exploring resorts. And it's something that is kind of new, and I'm talking about the Skyliner, but doing the resort loop from Epcot and heading to the resorts. And it's for me, the Skyliner is already a classic. It's something that I really like to do. I enjoy even the little sound, the warning sound, that the alerts that they when you're there.
The chime, yeah.
It is. Dare to say it is now during these times it is even better because they put you alone in the gondola with no one else.
Yeah, they don't put anybody else in there with you.
and the Skyliner for me and the resorts loop and enjoying it. The Skyliner brought a whole new perspective to resorts like Caribbean Beach. It becomes totally different now. So
much more accessible than it used to be.
Yes, and I really enjoy. Did I enjoy that during summer? Yes, it is okay.
I don't have any issues.
I have no issues with that, and I really like. Some people say, "Are you afraid of heights?" Yes, I'm really afraid of heights, but not in the Skyliner.
Not that far off the ground, though.
I'm really.
Maybe skip the Pop Century loop if you really don't like heights because it goes over water, but the rest of them aren't that bad.
No, but even that part is really fun. And when it goes close to when you are about to arrive in that station, and the opportunity to enjoy those resorts, even going far as the Pop Century or the Disney Animation Resort, you have the time to stroll on there and then go to the Riviera or go to Caribbean Beach. That's great, and the great thing to do with the Skyliner. Let's share the Skyliner Resort loop. The factor for that was 88, close to the classic. One thing that I will bring,
the hatred we missed.
One thing that I will bring to this top 3 is that what I did is that I ranked the whole things, the whole experience that we brought with the F factor, and actually we have 4 classics, we have 4 outstanding, and 1 very good, which was the Savannah Experience that I brought, but it's very good experience, and it's the highest one was the Sunset at Crescent Lake. And you know one thing, but there is always something connected to the Florida skies, and I have a fixation with that. But the sunset, the whole thing, the whole thing with the skies here, it makes a lot of difference for experiencing Walt Disney World, particularly sunsets.
Mhm.